Hi, Jamain Hatton here, and today on the recap, we are looking at It is a Constant Image of Your Face by Dennis Brutus. Today is the 10th day of June 2017, and It's a Constant Image of Your Face is one of my favorite poems in the syllabus because it has that nice romantic swing to it. I know I often say I like the poems, but this one is it's nice. It shows us just how far we're willing to go, what steps we're willing to take for the ones we love or the person, that special person we love. So it's a nice poem. I'll just leave that there. It's a good poem to make comparison with Dulce et Decorum Est. If you have not listened to that already, I'll leave a link in the description for you. It shows the contrast between who are willing to go to war to represent the country and then some persons who are not willing to go. So this is a nice comparison there. If you want to have notes on this poem, go ahead and hit my friend Antoinette Blair up. She is doing a great job on her website. A link will be in the description there for you. Click that, you can have notes on this poem and all other poems appearing in the English syllabus 2018 to 2023. Let's get straight into it. It is a constant image of your face framed in my hands as you knelt before my chair. The grave attention of your eyes surveying me amid my world of knives that stays with me, perennially accuses and convicts me of heart's treachery. And neither you nor I can plead excuses. For you, you know, can claim no loyalty. My land takes precedence of all my loves. Yet I beg mitigation, pleading guilty. For you, my dear, accomplice of my heart, made without words such blackmail with your beauty, and proffered me such dear protectiveness that I confess without remorse or shame my still fresh treason to my country. And I hope that she, my other, dearest love, will pardon freely, not attaching any blame, being your mistress or your match in tenderness. So Dennis Brutus, the poet here, was actually a South American, and he was an educator, journalist, and particularly or most notably, he was one of the activists that fought for South America, South Africa. What am I saying? South America, South Africa during the apartheid era. In fact, he was in 1960 banned from actually publishing his written work. He was an educator as well, so a writer, a journalist. So he was banned from publishing his work that he would have written as a result of him being in the apartheid struggle. So he was also locked up. He was also locked up, and some text, some literature points to the fact that he was locked up the same time Nelson Mandela was locked up. And in fact, I think they were cellmates or they were in cells alongside each other while they were in prison. So that is a little bit about Dennis Brutus. And as soon as he was released from jail, he left South Africa, and yeah, I can agree with him. He left South Africa to do much of his publishings. As a result, we have this beautiful poem here today. So, getting into the poem itself now. So, Dennis brilliantly started by saying, "It is the constant image of your face." It's telling us, it's directly telling us that the reason for me doing something, the reason for me doing what I did, is the image of your face, the constant image. Not just I'm seeing you now or I'm seeing you once in a while, but it's a constant image of your face that keeps coming to me. He said, framed in my hands as you knelt before my chair. Now, at this point, we must understand that nothing here pinpoints so far who he's talking to. So it leaves the reader wondering, who is this person that is kneeling before his chair, and whose face is he cupping in his hand? We don't really know. It could have been a child, it could have been an animal, it could have been anything. We don't know for a fact. But when we go on later on, we will see exactly who he's alluding to. He says the grave attention of your eyes is as though she's just there looking at him. I'm saying she because I already entire poem, but this is saying that the start there, if we are to stay with just the line we have so far, is giving us the idea that the eyes were paying such keen attention to him, was as if they're saying, choose me. Or the eyes are saying, come to me. Or the eyes are giving him the feeling of love. Surveying me amid my world of knives. Now, this part here, amid my world of knives, is very important because, as I told you earlier, Dennis Brutus was a person that was an activist rather during the apartheid era of South Africa. So the knives he's talking about here is basically the world of politics. So he's saying that, when you hear knife, you think about cutthroat. That's I don't know how much we know about it in the Caribbean, but in Guyana we often say that people, some people are cutthroats, to mean that they can easily betray you or they can stab you in the back. I'm quite sure we know about that one. Stab you in the back. The same idea or the same mentality is gained from my world of knives. He's trying to show us that in his world, people might be close to him, and those people can possibly lead to a knife in the back or a stab in the back. He says that stays with me. He's saying the eye while he's out, the eye is what gives him the longing to continue. That love is what gives him the hope of continue. Alright? Perennially accuses and convicts me of hard treachery. So this here, this is a changing part of the poem. The hard treachery is telling us that infidelity, that's coming to mind there. Infidelity. Somebody's cheating on somebody. So so far we have the idea that it is just this woman, right? It's just this woman he has or he's talking about. And we'll see someone else coming in the picture in just a little bit. But he's giving you the idea that the eyes or the fact of how she looks is constantly reminding him of how unfaithful he is to her. Neither you nor I plead excuses. Straightforward. You know you can claim no loyalty. That is important because he's saying at this point, even though you're good looking, even though it is a constant image of your face, even though I love the attention of your eyes, you can hold no loyalty when it compares to my land. He's saying that my land takes precedence of all my love. He's saying that no matter how good looking you are, my land is more important than you. So at this point, at the end of the first stanza, he is choosing his land. Despite he loves this woman deeply, he's choosing his land. Now, this is where the poem gets a little interesting. A little? No, it gets very interesting. He says, yet I beg mitigation, pleading guilty. Mitigation there tells us he's begging for a lesser sentence. Something bad happened and you're saying, Your Honor, please take it light on me. I did it because of this. So he's begging for a lesser sentence. He's saying, pleading guilty. So he's admitting that the love of the woman or the face of the woman is saying it is a constant image of your face. So it's the face of the woman that made him do this. So he's begging for mercy. He's begging for a light sentence. He says, for you, my dear accomplice of my heart. So he's saying that the woman is intertwined with his heart. And she made him without words. Without words, that's important. He's saying it's reinforcing the fact that it is the constant image of the face, right? Such blackmail with your beauty. So blackmail, you're basically making someone do something for you by holding them for some at what? I'm looking for the right word. You're holding them culpable probably for something that they have done. So you're trying to get them to do something for you because of something you know about them. Alright? If that sums it up nicely there for you. So to have to blackmail someone is basically to have them at your disposal or have them at your will or of control because of something you have over them, right? So it tells us that the love's interest, or the woman here he's talking about, has captivated the persona in such a way that he betrays his country. So they're hinting to us here that the reason he no longer is that patriotic person, I'm saying this lightly, is because of the constant image of your face. So he's saying that it is a constant image of your face, it's your beauty that made me not choose my country but chose you. Hmm? So it goes. Remember, we were talking about earlier when we said that Dennis Brutus was locked up in South Africa, and he left South Africa immediately after he was released. Now, I am going to suppose here, no literature supports this, but I am going to suppose here that perhaps Dennis left South Africa with this woman. And really, the kind of betrayal he's talking about, the kind of treachery he's talking about, the kind of treason he's talking about, is the fact that he did not stay and fight the apartheid era, but the fact that he left the country in the embrace of a woman. Think about that. Think about what I'm saying for a while. It is a constant image of your face. We know that Dennis Brutus was an activist. Yes, he was a educator as well as a journalist, etc., etc. But unlike Nelson Mandela, he did not stay and fight. He left the country immediately after he was released. 16 years is a long time. Then he said, you know what? It's time for me to pack my traps and leave this place. And I'm going to go with the lover of my life. But it was as though he loved the country, loved South Africa so much that it was as though he was grieving. He said that it was treason, and treason is when you do a terrible crime against your country. So he's comparing the leaving of his country, I'm saying this here, he's comparing the leaving of his country to treason, a great injustice to one's country. And he's saying, and he's personifying here the land, and he's saying what? He's saying that I hope my country, he's saying that the country is able to be a woman, or the country is like a woman or like a person, and he hopes that that person, that country, can forgive that treason, that fresh treason. And he's saying he's not attaching any blame. He's saying, I don't blame you, sweetheart. I don't blame you for making me choose you over the country. He's saying that we're a match. We're just a match made in heaven, and we are gonna wallow in each other's tenderness. Let's go back a little bit. He says what? Proffered me in such dear protectiveness. Remember, this is a man who has spent some amount of his life in jail, 16 years to be exact, and he doesn't want to fight anymore. Probably he's tired. People get tired, huh? It's not like Nelson Mandela that tried so desperately for South Africa. He was tired. So you know what? It's time for me to leave. It's time for me to go with my love. And he's saying what? It is as though Her love was protectiveness. And he says he confesses that without feeling any sorrow. Right? So it's a wonderful poem. I'm quite sure you get the idea I'm talking about there. I hope you have thought about that way. And if you haven't, you think of that way now. Alright? Great. So of course we can compare this poem, love, guilt, patriotism, places, dreams, desire. But I must bring to your attention another poem. This is a dark time, my love. It's a beautiful comparison with this poem is the constant image of your face. Because we see that both of these men were actually fighting for their country, were activists, and they wanted what's best for their country. But here we see a man choosing not his country, not choosing to fight continuously for his country, but choosing the love of a woman. So that kind of contradicts the idea. It's a good comparison there. That was it for It Is a Constant Image of Your Face by Dennis Brutus. Go ahead and like this, leave a comment to tell me what you think. Go ahead and subscribe so you can get updates on future poem postings. Thank you very much for listening. You were with me, Jamain Hatton. Until next time, goodbye.